I really need to work on an intro. Hi guys, this is Trish from Hip Homeschool Moms. I'm here with Leanne, the other one of the other partners at Hip Homeschool Moms, and we are interviewing Sherri Seligson, who is just a mom.
That's right.
There's a story behind that. Y'all don't beat me up. There is a story behind that. So she'll get to explain that here in a few minutes. But thank you, Sherri. We're so glad to have you here again.
I'm really happy to be here.
We're glad to have you. Sherri was our very first homeschool hero, and y'all will find out why as we have our discussion and y'all get to see it. So, Sherri, tell us a little bit about your homeschool, your family, sort of catch us up. We were chatting about it before the recording started, but I'll let her start over.
Okay. Well, I have 4 children. My husband and I have 4 kids, and 3 boys and a girl. And we have homeschooled for 21 years. Have you noticed that that's 147 dog years? That's
oh my God. You'll understand that comment. Years. I know. You'll understand that comment here in a minute too. Yeah.
So anyway. But anyway, so we've homeschooled for 21 years, graduated our youngest child last year. And so I'm a homeschool graduate mom for the first time and made it through K through 12 for all of them. God's done some great things in their lives in spite of me. And so now I'm doing other things that God's opened up for me to do in the homeschool community and still support homeschoolers. And because I love homeschoolers and I love homeschooling and I'm still passionate about it. So I want to continue to support the homeschool movement.
Yay! Well, we're glad you're still here. Thank you very much. Just for the record. So, okay, so you graduated your last child and now you have this empty nest. Is it what you thought it was going to be? I was just talking to Deb and Vicki and they have an empty nest too. So is it what you expected?
Well, my nest still has like eggshells in it, metaphorically speaking.
I love how you put that. So that means you're in and out? What does that mean?
Yeah, well, we still have 2 at home that live with us going to college. And so they're there, but I don't ever see them kind of a thing. You know, the food disappears, the laundry builds up. They do their own laundry. But, you know, there's evidences that children live there, but they're adult kids. And so other than letting me know ahead of time when they're coming home, when they're not going to be here, that kind of thing, they're in the house and there's evidences of that. And so, you know,
I love that. Eggshells. That is hilarious. Okay, you get lots of hallelujahs for that. That's hilarious. That's a great way to put it. Eggshells. They still have eggshells.
Yeah, so, that's kind of what it is.
So before I get in too much trouble, can you explain to us your word about just a mom?
Yeah, and it'll be. I'll give you the short version, and maybe we can go into the long version later. But I've talked to many moms, and I felt this way myself. That when I was working, I left the work career environment to be a full-time stay-at-home mom, and I was with other moms who were saying, "Yeah, I'm just a mom." The just was just, it kept like little stabs, kept stabbing me. Like, what do you mean just? That's not. Why is that? Why do we have to say that? I think that as I've seen how God has called us to this amazing occupation, that it is, for me, it was a promotion. I worked at Walt Disney World's Living Seas Pavilion at Epcot Center as a marine biologist and had a really fun job, I guess, if you would say that. A lot of fun opportunities, lots of travel, lots of great opportunities to dive and swim, work with dolphins. And I left that when we had our first child and stayed home with him. And then, you know, everybody thought I was a nut. And then when we decided to homeschool, they're like, "Oh, well, she's confirmed nut now."
Now you're fully a nut.
Right. So, you know, I just embraced that nuthood. But it just really struck me that what an awesome calling we have as moms. What an awesome ministry. It is our biggest, best mission field. And that when a mom says, "I'm just a mom," I'm like, you are not just a mom. You are a mom. And it is a promotion from anything else we could do. We are to be industrious. We are to do things in the community. But our primary goal and the best goal we can have is being a mom. That's the short version. I've got lots of other things to say about that. But that's why I'm passionate about that.
And you know what? I think that's important for people to understand. I mean, some of us had careers, some of us didn't really have careers. Were working and really just trying to still figure out who we were and what we were before we started having children. And then all of a sudden, children are on the scene. But nevertheless, the point is that sometimes we feel like we're losing our identity. And I have heard that more than once in our community. And
Yeah.
and so that to me, I get what they're saying. I get that they're, feel like they're lost in the everyday of the homeschool and momness of their world. So how do you encourage them? What do you say to them when they feel like they're losing their identity?
I have a short story that kind of addresses that.
I'm glad. Go ahead.
Okay, so here I was pregnant with my second child. Our first one was a little over 2 years old, and I was 36 weeks pregnant with my second child. And I woke up in the middle of the night to hear my son crying in the other room. And we had just moved him to a big boy bed because we were wanting to get him transitioned before the baby came. And he had thrown up all over himself, all over the bed. It was a mess. He was crying, So I cleaned him up, and I cleaned, got the sheets and started a load of laundry. And there's this amazing invention that I was not aware of called a mattress protector that I did not have on his mattress. I had one for the crib because someone had given us one as like a shower gift or something, and so I used it. But I didn't really grasp its amazing benefit to protect the mattress, and so I didn't have one on the mattress. And so, I had to go get the upholstery cleaner, and I'm cleaning the upholstery.
Oh my gosh, in the middle of the night. Oh,
so I just brought him into bed with us after I did that. Well, a couple hours later, we wake up to him throwing up all over our bed.
Oh,
he had some kind of stomach flu. And so we clean ourselves up, and we clean up our, we didn't have a mattress protector. In fact, if this story tells you anything, go get mattress protectors for your beds. That's the only major wisdom right there.
Yep.
And so, cleaning up our mattress, and we couldn't go back to sleep on it because it was wet. So we pulled out the sleeping bags, which is all we had left in the house. And we're laying on the floor and fall asleep there. And then another hour goes by, and my husband's laying on his back. And he wakes up and looks up above him, and my son stands over his head and proceeds to vomit all over my husband. And so at that point, we had no place else to sleep. We had this little Congo line of laundry piles ready to go into the washer. And it was like 4:30 in the morning. So we're like, let's just stay up. So we just stayed up for the rest of the evening. Well, fast forward 2 weeks. I'm now 39 weeks pregnant, like ready to pop. And I wake up in the middle of the night to my son crying. And so I go into his room, and he had wet the bed. Now, he had been potty trained real quickly, early, no problem before, and had wet the bed. And so, no, I had not gone and gotten mattress protectors. I'm just talking that to hormonal. I didn't, just didn't. So I cleaned him up. I cleaned the bed up. I'm getting out the upholstery cleaner, and I'm thinking we're going to go mattress shopping because this is disgusting. And so true story, I put him in bed with us. 2 hours later, my husband rolls over, and he's like, "What is this?" And my son had wet the bed again, and on our bed. And so we're like, "What is the world?" And so we're cleaning it up, and we clean up, all our sheets, and we had cleaned up our mattress, put the sleeping bags again, and there I am laying on the floor.
39 weeks pregnant.
39 weeks pregnant on my back.
Lord.
And I'm thinking to myself, this is my life. For the rest of my life, I am going to be cleaning up fluids from kids' bodies, little people's body fluids. That's my life from now on. I've got another one coming. It's going to double. It's going to be worse. And so here I am 30, almost ready to pop. They're going to have to get a crane in here to get me off the floor in the morning. And I was just in this bubble of wallowing. And at that moment,
hormonal on top of that, because you're pregnant.
Yes,
yep.
Right. So my husband starts laughing. He's just laughing.
And you're like, it's not funny. Why are you finding this funny?
Are you? Right. He said, I'm just waiting for Nathan to stand over my head and go to the bathroom all over it. Because that's what he did 2 weeks ago. And that moment, it pulled me out of my little pity party, if you will, of that little minute. Because I got better perspective. And perspective is the whole point of this identity thing. I didn't have the right perspective. My perspective was, this little moment in time is my life, and this is it the rest of my life. But that little parentheses was just a tiny little piece of that season I was in, of having little ones, which was a tiny little piece of multiple seasons that God's got for me throughout my life, which is a tiny little piece of eternity
That's right.
of God's eternity for me. And so when I have God's perspective and the eternal perspective from him, that's just one little piece of serving my family, of meeting the needs of my kids, of loving on them with all the body fluid and everything else. And so those things helped me it pulled me out and brought me to the that perspective that I needed. You know, the previous activities of my life, I had to put those aside to do this thing that God was calling me to do, but it was a better calling. It was for a greater purpose. And I can't see that purpose unless I look at it from his vantage point, not my little parentheses of the moment that I'm in. And, you know, I'm not cleaning up bodily fluids at this moment. It's a different season for me. Now, I may be creating them eventually one day.
You're gonna be giving back.
That's right. Payback.
I have 3 boys, and I keep warning them of that. Yeah.
Honestly, it's just, I look back at, you know, we see that the time that we had before we had kids, before we got married, and we were doing lots of other things, playing tennis, going, whatever we were doing, a career. And those were things I was doing because I had extra time for myself. And that time, now that I have, as a mom, other things to be doing, the better things. I was only doing those for serving myself.
Right.
I'm able to serve others and pour into others. And I'm not glorifying, you know, putting ourselves down.
Right.
And, you know, we need to care for ourselves. We need to have time for ourselves. We need to have those friendships like you guys were talking about. And we need to have opportunity to have that occasional pedicure and get away. But overall, the focus can't be on this. You know, I don't want my kids to remember me as, oh yeah, mom was great. She always had perfect nails.
That's right.
I'd rather than say, you know, mom was great. She was there for us. You know, I remember that time when I broke my ankle and she was in the hospital room with me, and I want to be there with them, for them, which is the greatest thing we can do to build those relationships and walk with them through life. And that's better than any occupation that the career people tell us. And that's where the just kind of flies out the window.
You know, we've talked about this before, and every single one of us on this call all had careers and had an identity, and we totally, at least for me, I brought it home with me when I've always worked from home, and I had children, and I literally had a nanny that was taking care of my kids. And I wasn't even to drop my kids off at school, mom. The nanny dropped my kids off at school. And so I totally get exactly what you're saying, because I was that mom. I was the one that I had no idea what I was missing. And I think that's something that a lot of homeschool moms have the luxury of being blissfully ignorant about. Because if you ever had your kids off at school and then you bring them home, you realize that relationship that you're developing, you don't have that, or I didn't have that. Maybe other folks that send their kids off to school do. I didn't. And it took 2 years after bringing them home for that relationship to re-gel and reestablish, and for us to have that tight bond with my kids.
Yeah.
And I actually, you know, when somebody, you know, and if anybody's watching that's a public school, you know, has children in public school, I'm not dogging you, believe me. I actually, it's the exact opposite. You know, for me, I totally understand, you know, the desire to do that, but for me, that relationship was everything. And so, but from a mom perspective, you don't necessarily see that, like you were talking about. You don't, you know, you were this, you know, high powered, high rolling, high, you know, energetic, whatever, and then you come home. It's funny that you should talk about vomiting, because that's like Anne's thing that she she's like,
what?
Your thing about vomit. She's like, oh my gosh, the thought of that
God.
just
yes. Well, you know, as y'all are talking, you know, my thought is, you know, I thought, because I was a public school teacher, I thought my identity was being a public school teacher. And so I thought when my son was young, I continued to teach part-time. And so I thought that's what I was supposed to do. And, you know, the Lord really convicted me when he was 3, and he was like, Mom, teach me.
Yeah, that's, I think it boils down to where we get our perspective. I mean, our significance.
Yeah.
What makes us feel important, and is it accolades from? I mean, whether you're a working mom, a stay-at-home mom, or any kind of mom.
Yeah, yeah.
What makes us? What makes the significance? And significance doesn't come from those things. If you have accepted Christ in your heart, you're the daughter of the Creator of the universe. I mean, how much greater can we have significance than that? I mean, and that should be enough. I mean, more than enough. And we feel like it's not enough. We need more. We need people to tell us that we're important. But
that's right.
We've been given this amazing significance because of who He is, not because of who we are or what we've done. And that should be, then what is our calling? What is He telling us to do then with that? And we go do it, and we feel empowered and important because He gave us that responsibility to do whatever it is He's called us to do. So I feel like that society is telling us being a mom, a stay-at-home mom or a work mom, but just the mom activities are lesser activities, cleaning up that vomit, putting the Band-Aids on, cooking, doing laundry. But when you see them as serving and loving activities, then it just adds so much more value to that and gives us an understanding of the importance. So it's perspective and where we get our significance. And that addresses how we're not just moms, we're moms.
Something that really helps me is, and it was said in the group, this isn't me, this isn't my language, so I can't claim it, but somebody said it in the group at one point in time. But when you're working, and it doesn't matter how important you are, it doesn't matter if you're the CEO or if you're the janitor, you're still an employee and you're still part of a machine. But when you're at home, you are the center of everything. Mom is the cog. Mom is the glue that holds everything together. But you're your children's everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's
everything.
Right. That's right.
There's nothing else out there that's going to give anybody that kind of reward as being the mom. And so I totally get that. I totally get, for me, like I said, somebody else said it. I can't claim that, but it meant so much to me when I read that. I was like, oh my gosh, that's exactly right. We are their everything. And so it doesn't matter what else you do. Remember, you're their everything. And so I get convicted over my bad days when I have a bad day and I don't exactly say everything I should have said or shouldn't have said. Sometimes that's where I get convicted. It's like, wait a minute, you're their everything. Even though they're high schoolers, I'm still the cog.
It's critical in high school too. Yeah, and yet God is wise. He knows we're messing up. Yep. He knows we're not going to do it perfectly. And so, He has given us that provision of covering over all of our mess ups. Our kids are so, thankfully, so
resilient
Yes, they can handle it. They we need to go to them and ask forgiveness when we fly off the handle or do whatever we say or do, but it doesn't take God by surprise, and it frankly shouldn't take me by surprise when I mess up. I just need to know what to do when I do, and know that I'm not ruining them by doing it, that I'm still loving them and pursuing them. And then as they grow older, still loving them, still pursuing them, still being for them. And it's amazing how I've seen the relationships with my kids change as they've matured, from the mommy, little one to adult mom now. And that relationship is a wonderful, wonderful relationship. It's different. The dialogue is different. The heart is different. And their perspective, of course, changes, and they have a little more appreciation maybe for some of the things you did for them.
That's right.
But at the same time, it's beautiful to be able to walk with them through that maturing, and then and hard. But beautiful to do that. It's a privilege to have that just the memories of doing that with them.
As we're talking, guys, if y'all have any questions, you can pop them over here on the right. We will absolutely get Sherri to talk about it. So Sherri, I want them to understand a little bit about you and your history, because I think that my career was fun and Leanne's was fun, and we felt very called, and we felt like we absolutely were doing something pretty amazing. But really, you were doing something really amazing. So share with us about Disney. That is so fun. Y'all, she was a Disney girl.
Well, I just happened to be at the right place at the right time. I think that God just opened it up. But I got to work with the opening crew that started the Living Seas Pavilion, which is a 6 million gallon aquarium at Epcot Center at Walt Disney World. And so I was being paid to go. They had an island down at the Florida Keys. We would go down for a couple of weeks at a time, and we'd fish and we'd dive. We'd collect animals. We'd bring them back. We would care for them. There were sharks. There were dolphins. I got to do research while I was there. I got to dive with Mickey Mouse.
Oh my gosh!
He's not very hydrodynamic, and so getting him in the water was not fun. And so it just was it was really fun. Fabulous opportunity that I had. And it was actually growing. They were opening up Animal Kingdom at the time, which Disney was just starting to get into live animals. But up to that point, they had their little audio animatronics only because they could totally control them. Now they've got these live animals. And so there was a lot more opportunity opening up to me working within that environment. And I got pregnant and really felt like I needed to be home. And so God was really gracious with that because, here I had this career. I left it for the promotion of mom, but I still considered myself a scientist. I still loved teaching. I loved working in that field. And God enabled me to have opportunities to teach science classes, lead field trips to homeschool students throughout those years as the kids were getting older. Whatever we would do with my kids, I would just invite other homeschool families to come and join us. We would dissect things. We would do all kinds of take field trips. And it was just really fun. It made it more fun for my kids. And I got to still keep my feet wet. No
yeah, literally.
We would go to the beach. My kids would come to me and say, "Mom, can we just go to the beach once and it not be a field trip?" And I'd be like, "No, sorry, not me. Sorry, no." But in that process, God was building skills that I didn't realize He was building in me. I had no idea what He had for me in the future. And so He was teaching me skills in teaching, running classes, how to make curriculum. Because when I started homeschooling back in the Stone Ages, 21 years ago, there were maybe 5 different kinds of curriculum, and that was it. And so when you want to do something different, you had to make it. And so I learned how to build curriculum and make curriculum and teach it and come up with labs. And so in that process, when the time was right, as my kids got a little bit older, I was given the opportunity to write curriculum for Apologia. So I wrote their marine biology high school textbook. And now I'm doing instructional DVD courses to go with all of our upper level courses. So I'm getting to teach and to build curriculum and come up with labs and go on location to places. So when we're talking about wrinkled skin, I get to stand in front of a rhinoceros and talk about his wrinkled skin, not mine. And so and all the important parts about that wrinkled skin that he has.
That's
and how
right.
It works. And so I don't want anybody looking at this. So the whole point of that was I couldn't see what God was doing in that. But if we're faithful to do the next thing that God has for us, you can be sure that He's got something else for you as your kids move on and further. And it may be something completely different than what you were expecting. It may be that He wants you to still serve your husband and your kids and your grandkids from the same format, doing what you're doing. I don't know. It's going to be different for each one of us, but it's going to be the best we could be doing and the most fulfilling thing that we could be doing ultimately.
And honestly, for me, those, like you were talking about earlier, you were talking about the stages and the phases. I think sometimes those transitions are so hard for us. And having somebody like you, like Leanne and I have, where we have friends that are sort of walking through these stages with us, I think that helps so much. Hip Hop School Moms, we have, of course, the community, as you all know, on Facebook, and a lot of moms don't have the luxury of having those in real life friendships, and so we we felt really strongly, Ann and I went to, I think we told you this story before, we went to Nashville to teach them diligently. And there was a mom there that was on the verge of tears. She had no idea who we were. I have no idea who she was, but she impacted us in such a way that we walked away saying, we need to create a community for moms because they feel so alone and so out there, nobody to mentor, nobody to help them, nobody to ask questions of. And so that's the whole purpose of our community, is to be there not just for the homeschool mom, although it is for homeschool moms, but we are a community. So anything that you might, like you were talking about with the sheets on the bed and needing to have, the waterproof sheets, that's exactly something
yes.
I know. And that's exactly something that would be in the group, talking about, okay, guys, parenting tip 101, go get you some, waterproof sheets or whatever, sheet protectors.
Yeah, it is. There's something about knowing we're not the only one. There's something, and now this is what, there's great things about virtual things and not great things. One of the great things is you can literally go on Hip Homeschool Moms at 2 a.m. and someone else is going to be there. So if you're up with a kid and you're thinking, I'm the only person awake right now, you can send, is anybody else up? And you'll probably get 10 people saying, I am, for whatever reason.
That's right.
And so there's just something in that community, and that can help spin off to in real life friendships like y'all have. And but even things like this where we can converse and ask questions and just support each other. That's another entire conversation we can have about competition.
We need to go there. We need to talk about that.
God.
Let's go there.
Yeah, because honestly, it is in our best interest if we all do well. If you, Trish, and you, Leanne, if your kids are successful, I should be like, thank the Lord, praise the Lord. This is
That's
awesome
exactly right.
that your kids are being successful. Not, oh my goodness, but my child didn't do that. Or, oh, he didn't score as well in the SAT. Or, oh, I've got this kid with this problem or these issues. It should benefit the entire community if y'all's kids are doing well. And I should be grateful and thankful for that and praising you guys and cheering you on.
I know.
And if we cheer each other on for whatever God's got our kids doing or whatever God's doing in our lives, it will benefit all of us, rather than, of course it's in our gut to say, oh no, but I have all these issues. We know here's another one. I could go hours on all of my issues, all the things going on in our life, all the challenges we've had to go through, and me saying, oh, well, this person over here has it great. They've never had these problems. They've never gone through this. We all go through stuff.
That's right.
We all have issues. We all have challenges. We all have struggles. And granted, some people have much more challenging struggles than myself. And sometimes I may be the one that has more challenging struggles than those around me. But if we are truly a community, then we need to be lifting each other up and supporting each other and cheering each other on. I mean, I wish you all have these real life little hallelujah hands.
I know.
We could do that for everybody every day, right?
I know. We got up today. Hello. Hallelujah. Great job.
Right? I know. I mean, just everybody. That should be another Facebook thing, is little hallelujah hands. Yay for you.
Yep.
Because we need to be doing that for each other. And that will overcome those I'm just a mom thoughts.
Yeah.
That, I'm a mom and you're a mom and you're a mom and we're all a mess. And isn't it great we're all a mess together?
That's right.
And,
Yes.
and we're a mess for God. We're a mess for Jesus. We're, whatever. It's just, we just get bogged down in that competition thing. And, my kid hasn't learned his timetables yet, and yours has, and yours is 2 years younger, and I'm a mess, and I've been there, and I'm still there.
Yeah.
I look at where my kids are at this age, and I compare them to where I was. I compare them to where my siblings were. I compare them to where my friends' kids are. And I start thinking, okay, we're not measuring up. Where did I go wrong? How did I mess them up? And we know they're individuals.
Sherri, you're not supposed to say that, because you're telling me that I'm always going to think this. I'm always going to go, really? Did I not do enough?
So I got to change your perspective. Get out of the parentheses.
That's
seriously.
Right.
Because it will. It will make us, it will bog us down. And so we just, God has a special calling for each one of us, and it will look different. I mean, I've got 4 kids with 4 completely different personalities, 4 completely different educational abilities. And so we had to reinvent each one as they went through high school. Everybody, oh, you graduated the first one, you're good to go. And I'm like, no, we hadn't different with each one of those kids. And I felt sad about that because it was more work, but then I felt great about that because they each were able to be uniquely who God has them to be.
Right.
And so as a homeschooler, I can tailor what we did to meet that need. As a mom, I know them from the time they were born, and I know how they work. And I have that perspective to say to them now, let's look at this career for you. This is this opportunity for you because I know you love this thing, or I know you really don't love that thing. And they're all different. And so if they're all different, why are we comparing?
Right.
If they're all the same, if we're comparing, we're expecting them to be the same. And if they're
right.
all exactly the same, let's put them in a single curriculum.
That's right. Put them back in school.
I mean, seriously.
Exactly.
Why have different things?
Yep.
And so we know they're not. We know they're different. And so if we're comparing, we're telling ourselves they should be the same.
No. Yeah.
So that's a completely different side issue, but a part of our frustration as moms.
But how do you change your
so
perspective? So how do you help a mom change her perspective? How do you help her walk into that where they stop the comparisons and then stop the, what was the song, Glory Days, where you're looking back at your quote, glory days, we need to be here. We need to be present. Like, how do we get there?
Yeah. I think we have to have the conversation all the time. It needs to be out there. It needs to be in front of us. We need to have someone we can go to and be transparent to and feel safe about it. And whether it's a person that you can connect with in person, or, I see this all the time in the homeschool mom community. People saying, hey, here's the issue. I'm not looking for a controversy, but I need some help. And they feel like they can safely ask that question. And I'm amazed at how many people go, oh, I'm there. I'm there too. I'm there too. And that community, that understanding that we all are going through something. And there's many of us who are going through the same thing. And that helps us gain our perspective again. It's not just me. It's not my mess. It's of course my mess, but it's not something that I have totally ruined.
Right.
It is a part of being human, the way that we were made in this fallen world, and we're walking together alongside each other. And it has to be continuous because we're continuously going to face it. It's never going to go away. This side of heaven, it's never going to go away.
Well, and you bring up a good point. I think friends are really important from this perspective. If you have a friend that is, even if they're not a homeschooling friend, but if they're a friend that truly believes in you and will support you, that's really what we need through this. We need somebody that we can vent to, somebody that, because it is hard. I mean, facts are facts. Homeschooling is hard. It's a calling that is not for the weak. Doesn't mean that the weak can't do it. It just means that you're going to have to develop a backbone, girlfriend, or boyfriend. I guess some dads do it too, right? But you're going to just have to develop that backbone. But I love that about our community. That's one of the things that, we get a lot of kudos in the community for this is, that we maintain that safe place. You were talking about having that safe place to go. We try to maintain that. It is hard. But if you don't have it in real life in person, whether it's your mom, sometimes your parents are very critical, or a sibling or a best friend, then, we're the next best place, and it's hard to find. So we're very thankful we have that. But so did you have best friends going through you were in Florida. I swear some of the best things happen down in Florida. Y'all have an amazing homeschool community down there.
We have a really nice, Florida's very homeschool friendly in the first place. And then we have a wonderful homeschool community. And through several co-ops and through our church and just several situations, I have been a part of a group of a couple of moms who we've just through the years been friends. In some seasons, we didn't see each other, but maybe once or twice a year because our kids were doing other things. Yeah. And then we'd call or whatever once in a while. But we have walked through life together, and and we still do. We're still going through, but our kids are approximately similar ages, and we've gone through challenge. Now we're going through wedding showers, bridal showers and baby showers, and ailing parents, and encouraging each other through that, and the highs and the lows of the new season that we're in, walking through this life. And I wanted to talk about just address the hard part that you mentioned, Trish. I was in Rome a couple years ago with my mom, and we went to we had the opportunity to go to St. Peter's Cathedral, which is where Michelangelo's Pieta is. And I don't know if any of you homeschool moms know that beautiful sculpture. It's a sculpture of Mary holding Jesus after he had been crucified, and just sitting there looking at it, and how realistic it looks, and how awesome it is, and then I began to realize that how long did it take Michelangelo to make this? I don't know. Maybe one of you moms know that, but
I don't,
because homeschool moms are so smart.
I know it. Pop it in if y'all know.
I know it took. He started with this big block of marble, and he started chipping away, and it was messy, and it was hard, and it took months, years, I'm sure. And he would chisel here and chisel there and sand, and it was gritty, and it was gross, and it was dirty, and he would look at it probably at some points and say, this is nowhere where I wanted it to go. And then he would continue working and pursuing. And after that long, hard haul, made this beautiful thing. That anything beautiful or any great work is hard and sometimes ugly and sometimes dirty, and sometimes we just want to throw it away and say, Red, where's that yellow school bus? Take my kids.
And full of bodily fluids too sometimes, right?
That's right. And so, any great work is going to be a challenge, and there's going to be those ups and downs, and dirty and not fun. And we have to see this raising our kids, mom gig that we've been given, as being, we're sculptors making the Pieta, and it's going to take our lives to do, but it's going to be dirty and, like you said, bodily fluids and a mess, but it is so worthwhile, and we have to have that vision. We have to, he probably had sketches of what he wanted to see it to look like, and we have to have that vision for what we want our kids to be like. What's our end goal?
Yeah.
What is our end goal for our kids? Is it for them to be millionaires? Probably not. Of course, that would be nice, but probably not. Yep. Our goal is for them to love the Lord with all their heart, serve him, and to be, somewhat coherent adults that can complete a sentence.
Exactly. And support themselves.
Support themselves. That's right. That's right. Get those eggshells out of the nest. Okay.
Clean that nest out.
So, when we have that sketch in our mind, and we know that that's our goal, then we know it's going to be hard to get there to that point. But it gives us that vision, and we know that any great work is ugly and takes work and takes time. Mm-hmm. And so we are in the process of building beautiful marble sculptures.
That's such a beautiful analogy. I love that. And speaking of that, you have some kids that are grown. So tell us about, now you're getting to see that home school education actually being applied. So tell us about some of your kids. I know you got some great stories there.
Well, we have 4, 3 boys and a girl. Our oldest is married, baby on the way. I'm a grandma. Yay, first time.
Yay. Congratulations.
And thank you. He is, he's a pharmacist, went through undergrad school, went through pharmacy college. He's studying pharmacogenomics, which is a research wing of pharmacy. So he's studying cancers, and it's like over my head.
Was that here in Memphis? Was that what he was doing here in Memphis?
Yes.
That's okay.
Wow. Yeah. Baptist Medical.
Yeah.
And so now he did his internship at Memphis. Just got a research fellowship for 2 to 3 years at Ohio State, and we'll be going there this summer for that. Wow. And so it's just interesting to see how God used things in his life to bring him into that field. Our second oldest, my husband and I
have a question before you go there. Looking back, now you have the luxury of looking back. Was there a point in time where you go, that's where he's headed? Or was this something new and completely different and you didn't expect it?
No, I could see this. It made sense to me. In fact, he was totally anti-science through probably his, 9th, 10th grade year.
Oh.
And in 8th grade, he was in an accident, and it was a small dirt bike accident. It was a freak one. He ended up getting 180 stitches in his face. That's another entire story.
Goodness.
Yeah. It was terrifying, but God just, preserved him. It could have been, a couple inches lower. He could have had, just it was terrible. But in that process and the revision surgeries he had to have, he became enamored with the medical field. And,
Wow.
it was just so cool to see how God used that terrible, potentially, situation to bring him through into this arena where, this is actually kind of cool. Both his parents are scientists. I'm a marine biologist. My husband's an engineer. My kids are like science, because that's all they get. They're doomed to be, surrounded by geeks because that's what we are.
That's right.
And so he embraced it eventually because God, and I could see he had the skill for it. He had the love of it. He just didn't know he did until, he hit his maybe junior year, senior year. And then we have this musician. A lot of people say to me and my husband, oh, well, you guys have an easy homeschooling. You're both scientists. You can do the math and the science. Yeah, but I couldn't do the literature and the poetry. And it terrified me to have to be able to teach them how to write. And you'd read a poem and they would say, well, what was the author meaning when he wrote this poem? And I'm like, I don't know. He's been dead for 200 years. How do you know? You can't ask him. It just doesn't connect. And so it was hard for me to do those things.
Yeah.
And of course, God in his awesome wisdom gives us a musician, a kid that's so outside the box, he's outside the room. And he just has this beautiful skill of playing music. And we just had to figure out how to navigate him through that. And I see how God used those opportunities in his life. There was an opportunity. We were all of our kids were taking piano in middle school, and the local the local university was doing some sort of computer programming composition program where you could compose music, and they were asking local piano teachers for piano students who could be a part of this. And they had a specific age range for them to do this, and that music kid was in the perfect age range for it. And so he spent the summer at the university playing with this program, composing music. And he was chosen as one of two kids. His composition was chosen to be played by the Florida Symphony Orchestra at the Florida Film Festival as a little 8th grader. And none of my other kids had that opportunity. My music kid was given this opportunity. At the time, we didn't know he was going to major in it, although I knew he had those skills. And we wanted to keep building those skills, but God knew, and God provided that opportunity for that kid at that time that he didn't provide for the others. And so it's just kind of neat to look back with that perspective, like you were saying, and see, in spite of me, what God did for them. I mean, I tried to keep my eyes open for things, and, scientists went up for this contest or that group or whatever, but sometimes we have no control over those things. And so we just have to be faithful and keep our eyes open and pray. And he did that with that kid. The second one, my musician, got his degree in music, plays jazz, plays mandolin, plays bass, does all kinds of stuff. And he's touring. In fact, he's in New Orleans this weekend, playing at a couple different places. Wow. It's totally out. I have no clue how to encourage him because it's just an arena I have no knowledge of. But he's navigating it. And then we have an engineer third son who is getting his master's in engineering right now. Wants to study biomedical engineering, and he was actually part of a group. I don't know if y'all heard about the students at his university put together 3D printable prosthetic arms for kids who can't afford them. And so he was the elbow designer, and they designed a arm for this one kid because he could print it. They could design it whatever colors and styles, and so they designed a Iron Man one. And so Robert Downey Jr. got to actually present this arm to this little boy. And so my son got to meet him. They did a Blue Man Group one. They did one for the Orlando City soccer team. And I mean, it's just been really cool that he's had this opportunity. He's my Connects Lego building guy.
There you go, y'all. Those Legos are important. You see now.
And as much as he liked it, I can tell you in 10th grade, I'm thinking this kid's not college directed, this kid, because he was meeting me next to him every single step of the way. I mean, he was like, and I'm thinking he's not mature. I mean, he was our late bloomer. He was just not ready for, and then all of a sudden something happened in 11th grade and boom, he just transitioned, and now he's getting his master's and going on to biomedical engineering, and it's crazy. And then so that's just kind of neat to see the bents that God has given them and how those things open up in their timing. I know he would probably have fewer opportunities had he been in a public school arena because he was such a late bloomer in maturing and in ability and things like that. So, and then my daughter is a sophomore in college. She's studying athletic training, and she's our athlete. Of
The
our
girl.
kids.
The
She's our
girl is
competitive
the athlete. Gotta love it.
I know. So she's studying that. She's talking about the possibility of physical therapy. We'll see. That's a 4-year postgraduate. So we'll see what God does. So
Wow.
it's been interesting. We have had to completely tailor their education in high school to each one. Very different things that all 4 of them did. Reinvent the wheel. But it was a blessing to be able to do that.
And we're almost done, but I have to ask you because your kids have such successful careers now, and they're on, their trajectory is just straight up. Did you finish every single book that you ever opened to teach them?
No, no. Did I think I was ruining them? Yes.
So I really that's something I want us to walk away with, because I'm a book finisher too, and I struggle with not getting it done every single year. And so it is such an encouragement to have moms like you, especially with these stories, these fantastic, wonderful stories that say it's okay. You're teaching them to think. You're teaching them to research. You're teaching them such big ideas. There's no way we're ever going to pour all this information into them before they're out of school.
Right. You can't teach them everything about everything. No one can. So we teach them to love learning. We had a year where my dad was ill and lived with us, and we did absolutely, in my opinion, no academics for an entire year. I'm thinking, that's it. My kids are ruined. Yeah. But, it's just, we didn't finish a lot, but we continued to plod on and continued to pray, and they learned how to learn. They had gaps. We all have gaps, but God is the God of gaps. When they needed to fill a gap, teaching them how to get information, how to know that they can, they will fill what they need. And so that's our goal, not to teach them everything about everything.
Yeah. What a great note to end on, y'all. That is absolutely so much encouragement. Thank you, Sherri, for being here. I always walk away feeling so inspired. Now, Sherri has a book that y'all need to know about. Tell them about your book too, Sherri. Besides aren't you going to be working on another book about internships, or you already have it out, don't you?
Yes, it's out, and actually is going through a revamp right now.
That's right.
Interning for high school credit. And it is a book that walks students through how to get an internship, how to document the internship, and how to get high school credit for it. All of our kids did internships. And as a homeschooling high schooler, the flexibility is there to go ahead and do that early, because it gives them a better glimpse of what the career field looks like. It's something they're interested in, or something they may not be interested in. And they'll walk away from with an understanding of, I really like that, or no, I don't want to go there. And I see more and more the importance of that, because I think there's a statistic, I may be incorrect, I think college students change their major 2 to 4 times before they get through college. Wow. And that's an expensive endeavor to do that when you're changing your major, because they don't know what they want to do. Now, granted, you don't have to know what you want to do necessarily, but you can know what you don't want to do. You can know something in the general area. And so allowing to explore that and getting high school credit for it, to me, was like benefiting. And then oftentimes it turned into a part-time job for our kids and gave them experience. And then it also looks awesome on a transcript for colleges to see that students have had an internship in their interested field, because that shows that they really know what they want to do. So little advertisement there, but it's coming out.
You know what? And I want that. I need to get the book. I keep forgetting to get the book, but I'm going to get the book. Does anybody have any questions out there before we let Sherri go? I know we're running late, but I wanted to throw it out there. If y'all have any, if you don't, that means we did great, Sherri. That means we just, every block of stone has a statue inside of it, and it's the task of the sculptor to discover it. Michelangelo. Kelly, that's gorgeous. I love that quote.
That's beautiful.
What a perfect quote. I agree. Well, looks like we have done a fantastic job, because nobody is popping in and asking questions. There you go. See how great you are?
We did everything about everything.
I know. We covered it all. But seriously, I totally appreciate you being here. I totally appreciate you staying in the industry after your kids are, quote, empty nest with shells in there, and helping us navigate this, because it is such an encouragement to us, and we appreciate you being here.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys and what you're doing too.
Thanks. Okay, guys. So we are today. This is part of Homeschool Teacher Appreciation Day. We hope you are feeling the love from Apologia. She is Apologia Mama, and from Hip Homeschool Moms. We totally believe in y'all, and we support y'all, and we want to be here for you. So the next blab that is coming up is going to be with Zan and Joe, and it's all about marriage, and they're hilarious. If you have never watched Joe and Zan, you have to come back for the next blab. Anyway, y'all have a great day, and Sherri, have a great conference. I know you'll have a wonderful time tonight. Everybody's going to be blessed. She's in Atlanta at Teach Them Diligently. If anybody's in Atlanta, go see her. You have a great week, Sherri. Thank you so much for being here. Bye, y'all.